following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Welcome into a new edition of the Belly Up Fantasy Live baseball show on the Belly Up Sports Network. And again, we just inch closer and closer to fantasy postseason, and we've got a lot to discuss today with trades that happened earlier this week. Fantasy stuff, of course, going on, Major League Baseball news, and waiver wire pickups. I'm Vince Stover, joined as I am every week by the senior writer of BellyUpSports.com, the one and only Kevin Wilson. Hey, Kev, how you doing, man?
We're doing great here, Vince. It's been a working weekend for me, but got through it, and temperatures came down a little bit, so life is good here in Texas, and hope it is as well for you over there in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're starting to get that baseball playoff weather, a little cooler. And because you remember, baseball is always played in the hot months. But when it comes to the playoffs, it's nice, cool fall evenings. And we're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer for sure. All right, well, let's get things started. We're going to talk trade deadline and all that came with it. And we're going to talk about it in the Fantasy Burner. Fantasy Burner presented by Belly Up Sports. Again, you can get all your reading material on BellyUpSports.com and all your visual material, the videos, on Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, where we've got great shows lined up for you on the website. And, if you listen at all to our fantasy football show on Tuesday nights, you've met Brian, who's on the 3rd and 10 podcast. You can find that show, the 3rd and 10 podcast, as well as all the fantasy shows on the Belly Up Sports YouTube. There's also the 1420. There's High-Low Sports, Insert Name FC, the Corner Booth, No Credentials Required, Morgan Man Sports, the Sports Stove Football Show, Sideline Summit, 3rd and 10 podcast, Tailgate on the Quad. I mean, we got shows like crazy out there on the YouTube channel there for Belly Up Sports. So make sure you go check that out as well. Obviously, this week was the trade deadline, and with that came a gazillion trades. I think probably about 3.5 million of those trades were relievers. The rest of them were other guys as well. A lot happened. Very few top tier guys got moved, but a lot of interesting pieces got moved as well. So let's start with like a blanket question of what moves do you think were the key moves here this past week with the trade deadline?
Well, some of the key moves were made by Philadelphia and the Padres, and it was really surprising that because the Padres had a solid bullpen to begin with, and they added to that. The Phillies added a closer, which I really like in fantasy, and just the Mets as well added to their bullpen. So all of those, as you mentioned, relievers going here and there, and watching Minnesota deflate before our very eyes, and so that happened. But the relievers is where I think that a lot of this we should be discussing, because there was something, I've been playing fantasy baseball a long time, and I found out something this week that I didn't know. And that is that in standard ESPN leagues, holds are worth only 2 points. 2. So that's going to frame my winners and losers when it comes to these relievers that I'm sure we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah. When I look at it, I'm kind of the same as you as far as the teams go. I thought the Padres did pretty well. I thought the Mets did pretty well. I liked what the Reds did, actually. Also, I like what the Tigers did, as well as a whole. And we talk about individual things. Well, the Mariners probably got the most bang for their buck over these last couple of days of leading up to the trade deadline, getting 2 guys from Arizona in different trades, Naylor and Suarez. But I look at this in a few different ways. Let's kind of run through. I'm not going to run through every trade, of course.
Right, of course not.
A few things just to help people kind of understand. Astros get back Carlos Correa, which was a massive move for them. Ramon Urias comes over also. That was good. And Jesus Sanchez comes over, which is helpful. All those things are helpful for the Astros. Let's see here. Blue Jays, they added several people, but Shane Bieber comes over. That's an interesting, that one caught my attention.
It did me as well.
Let's see here. I will mention the Brewers. They didn't win by any stretch of the imagination, the trade deadline, but they didn't give up anything to get what they got back. Nestor Cortez, who was coming off an injury, they didn't have anywhere to put him in the rotation. They get Brandon Lockridge back for him. Shelby Miller and Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery won't play this year. Miller will. And again, they gave up, nothing to get them. So it's a low risk move on those. So as a Brewers fan, I was pleased with what the Brewers did as well. Cubs, they add a lot of pitching to their Ryan Presley, Michael Soroka, Andrew Kittredge, Taylor Rogers. They also bring in Willie Castro, who we've talked a lot about this season, fantasy-wise, from the Twins as well. So I think decent, good for them too. Let's see here. Talked about the Mariners. Mets, Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley, Greg Soto in the bullpen, and then Cedric Mullen in the outfield. I thought the Mets did a phenomenal job at the trade deadline. Padres, and we're going to talk more about these players in detail in a minute, but Mason Miller, J.P. Sears, Nestor Cortez. Then on the offensive side of things, Freddie Furman, the catcher, was a really good pickup for the Padres. Will Wagner, Ryan O'Hearn, and Ramon Laureano. All solid, I thought, solid additions. Phillies, I wasn't impressed with them as you were, but we'll talk about that more because we get specific on that as well. Rangers, Phil Medden comes over from St. Louis, has been really good. Merrill Kelly comes over, and Danny Colomb as well. So again, all pitching additions for the Rangers. Rays, not super impressed, but Griffin Jacks, Adrian Hauser, good additions, I suppose. Red Sox, Dusty May and Steven Matz. Yikes. If I'm a Red Sox fan, I'm not happy with that. Reds, Brian Hayes, Michael Andujar, Zach Little. Royals, not much. Tigers, Rafael Montero, Kyle Finnegan, Paul Sewald, all arms in the bullpen. And they bring over Charlie Morton as well. We've talked about Charlie Morton plenty. None of us, we don't love Charlie Morton or anything like that, but put him on that Tigers roster. It helps them, at the end of the day. Let's see here. That's pretty much it, I guess. Yankees. Okay, let's talk about Yankees real quick. Before we go anywhere else, let's talk about Yankees.
Okay.
They loaded up on bullpen guys.
Okay.
Duvall from San Francisco, Jake Bird, David Bednard. David Bednard's Yankee debut was exactly what you would have expected of it. Horrendous and not great. They had Jose Caballero from Tampa, who basically loses the game for him on the defensive side of things in that first game as well, letting the ball roll under his glove. They bring in Austin Slater also at the outfield spot. So I thought it was hilarious that the Yankees – listen, when I saw the moves, I didn't think they were bad moves. But it just seems like there's nothing that you can do right now to fix the Yankees.
Especially, we're going to get into this, deeper later, but, Bednard was an interesting guy to me in that deal because he was awful.
Yeah.
Then they sent him down to the minors, but ever since then, when he came back up, he's been a quality pitcher.
Yeah.
And I dropped him. I picked him back up when he was pitching well. But now that he's on the Yankees and he's not going to be the closer there. And that is a major problem when you're talking about fantasy because,
Right.
like I mentioned, holds are 2 points. That's not a big problem in our league because holds are worth 5 in our league.
Yeah.
So, but if you're in a standard league, that's a huge problem to me. And I was disappointed, maybe in a fantasy sense.
Sure.
Because it was the Yankees, I wasn't disappointed.
Sure.
But I thought that Bedard would do a lot better than that. But so that's a huge step back for him. We could talk about the Mets and Ryan Helsley.
Yep.
Is a quality closer, but he's not going to be the closer on the Mets. That's a fantasy problem right there.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in our dynasty league, I do have Ryan Helsley.
Yeah.
And I went and I checked it, and in that league, holds are 2 points. So that takes a major stumble, fantasy-wise, right there. So
when you
We always
have
talk. Go ahead.
when you have multiple teams that brought in multiple relievers, you have to pay attention to what role they're going to play. So
Right.
Mets, I love Gregory Soto. I like him better than the other two relievers they got, Tyler Rogers and Ryan Helsley. He might have some save opportunities. We got to see how they break all that down. But they bring in 3 relievers. The Padres bring in, I guess, just 1 reliever. Rangers brought in 2 relievers. Tigers brought in 3 relievers. Yankees brought in 3 relievers. Like, when you see those kind of breakdowns, Cubs brought in 3 relievers, I think, also. So, when you see that, you have to understand you've got to figure out what role they're going to play and how they're going to fill the role that they're going to be in fantasy-wise, for sure. I want to mention this about the Twins real quick. The Twins, they lost Yohan Duran. They lost Willie Castro. They lost Carlos Correa. They lost Griffin.
77 other players, what you say?
Yeah, Louis Varland, Ty France, Brock Stewart, Danny Colomb. But I really like what they got back. They get Mick Abel from Philadelphia. That's a super young, talented starting pitcher. Like, that's good for Abel's fantasy in the sense that he's going to get opportunities maybe that he kind of kept getting pushed back a little bit in Philadelphia. They got James Outman, who I'm intrigued to get your opinion on because he was solid for the Dodgers not that long ago and just nothing for the Dodgers this year. So now he goes to a place in Minnesota where he's going to get opportunity. And again, opportunity is everything. They also got Taj Bradley and Alan Roden. I don't dislike those, but I thought the James Outman and Mick Abel, I love those get backs. And I don't know this. We didn't talk beforehand on who you had on your list, but I don't know if that James Outman, trade for the Twins, how you see that breaking down for his fantasy value.
Well, if you're in a dynasty league, I think that breaks a little better.
Sure.
Than for this year. But his defense is going to keep him on the playing field. And so that's important because we all saw the play that James Outman made at the wall to save a game for the Dodgers. And that just happened just recently. And so that's a good thing for him to keep him in the lineup. His bat has never impressed me, but we'll have to see how things work over there in Minnesota because they got quicksand over there now.
Yeah.
So if he could just keep the bat on the ball, I like that a lot for him. So we'll have to keep that in mind going forward. But if I'm in Dynasty and you have a place, stash him, and you're not going anywhere in the playoffs, stash him. I think he could turn out to be something big.
Fantasy wise, I thought San Diego brought in the most fantasy impact players. Mason Miller, again, go back to the Andrew Vaughn trade for the Brewers. You put a guy from a bad environment, a losing environment, into a race. Now you're in games that matter. I'm interested to see how Mason Miller does with that change. JP Sears, we've talked about him. I don't
got
know how
him on my list.
Yeah, with waiver wires, we've talked about add JP Sears for this, add JP Sears on this matchup. Now he's on a good team. Now he's got some offensive backing to go with it. I like that a lot. Freddie Furman, I don't know how much play time he's going to get. I would assume pretty quick he's going to be playing. He'll be the regular catcher in San Diego before too long.
So name the San Diego starting catcher. Probably can't do it.
It's been there's been a while since I knew the consistent pitch catcher. Well, I couldn't pronounce the guy last year for some time, but anyways.
Yeah, he's on the Rangers now, and I can't pronounce his name either. So
O'Hearn and Lariano, by the way, has been hitting the ball real nice leading up to the trade deadline. So both of those guys now, again, better situation overall. I just felt like fantasy side of things, I thought the Padres, with the trades they made, they had the most fantasy impact as a whole with the group of guys they got.
Well, it's interesting, because we talk about, Miller. It's the same problem with him.
Yes.
He is not going to be, he's a quality closer, but he's not, and we've already seen this, he's not going to be the closer for the Padres. So if you're in a standard league, and I've got him in our league, and that's not a problem because holds are 5 points. I did not know that they were anything other than that. So in our league, it's not a problem. But if you're in a standard league and it's 2 points, that takes a back seat in fantasy to me. He'll get more opportunities, of course, now he's on the Padres, but he'll need 2.5 opportunities to match what he could have had over there in Sacramento.
I
So
think
that's
he's
an issue
gonna,
to me.
I think he's going to win that job. I think
He may-
Suarez is going to get beat out eventually. I don't know how long it'll take, but I don't think. I mean, they may even go every other with those guys. I don't think Suarez has built up enough equity there to say my job's untouchable. I think they brought Mason Miller in with the hopes that he would be their closer. It just might take a little bit of time to get him there. I think Mason Miller would be a guy that's going to hold a lot of value in the coming weeks, especially if we get the fantasy playoffs.
He may well, but that's why if you have him, don't move him or don't do any of that. Just wait to see how it shakes out. But I know it's just their opening series, but Suarez was the closer. That may not mean anything at this point, but it's something you need to keep your eyes on. And if Mason Miller is not the closer, then that's a fantasy issue to me. So just keep your eyes on that.
Robert Suarez, 34 years old. He's been fine. Nothing wrong with him this year necessarily. Mason Miller's 26, almost 27.
Oh yeah, definitely a step up.
They
Dynasty. Absolutely.
They also got Jason Adam, who's been up and down a little bit this year as well, back there on the back end of that bullpen. So like I said, I just think that I didn't pull this up. I need to, but I think Mason Miller will be the closer, and I think he'll be the closer within the next week and a half. Is when he'll get his shot to be the everyday closer in San Diego. That's my thoughts. I don't have any sources, of course. I don't have anything that's gonna, that I can just say is pure fact on. But I will be shocked if Mason Miller doesn't get the chance to win over that job to be the closer in San Diego. Looking right now, Suarez 32 saves this year, 4 losses. And I'm trying to see if I can find. They don't have blown saves on this one. So 46 innings total. That's beatable. That's my point. It's beatable this year. Mason Miller. Let's see here. Stats for this season: 2 losses and 3 saves on the year.
No, he's got to have more saves than that.
That's what I'm saying. I think ESPN has it screwed up. I don't know. We'll check it out. Anyways, I think he becomes the closer. That's my point. I'm pointing it all.
So if you have the point is if you have either one of those 2 guys right there, don't panic either way. Keep your eyes on them, and by the time they figure this out, you're going to have to roll with the flow because the trade deadline in your fantasy league is going to be over more than likely. It should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah, all mine are done. So I don't. If they're not done now, then yeah.
Right. So don't panic. Just see how it works out. Just know that whoever's not the closer, it's going to be an issue as far as fantasy is concerned this year.
Yep.
But if you're in Dynasty and you have Mason Miller, this is a huge gain for you because, as you mentioned, the dude's 34.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. So Mason Miller more than likely will be the closer regardless of what happens next year and next year after that and stuff. So that's a big gain if you're in Dynasty baseball.
Does Carlos Correa get a bump going back to Houston?
He does. Absolutely, he does. I've got him down as a winner. I wrote an article. He's on there. And because he's going to play third base for Houston.
Yeah.
So fantasy-wise, that gives you once he qualifies, shortstop and third base.
And third base, oh my gosh. We need help at third base.
We need third base. You could always use some help over there. And after going hitless in his first game, I wrote this down because I knew it was going to come up. He had 2 hits. He had a home run. So, and he knows how to hit in Houston, of course. After playing there all these years, he was excited. The team was excited. And Carlos Carrera has not been having a good year. Let's be honest about this.
Yeah.
It has not been. If he was hitting 333 or something, Minnesota wouldn't have done what it did.
Right.
But he's certainly capable of turning this around. And so, but the position that's added to this, that his going down the stretch, I think is going to be a big move. And so, if you've got an opening on your team, I would look to add Carlos Correa just because of the situation.
Yeah, I've got a friend that has a gambling show, and he's big. We always joke about teams being fired up. Oh, man, team's fired up, so I'm going to put money on them, and those kinds of things. And we joke about that. This is one of those situations where the energy that comes with Carlos Correa for himself, it revitalizes him. We talked about that with Andrew Vaughn. We've talked about that with other trade. Like, there's this revitalization that comes from being on a team that's been doing poorly to now a team that's in first place. And now you come in, there's a whole different energy about it. So I like the bump for Carlos Correa too, I think. And adding the positional flexibility is awesome for fantasy stuff. Who's your other winners fantasy wise?
So one of the guys, let's see, JP Sears is a big winner here. Big winner. Goes from not being in a AAA hitter's park, and the just like the Dodgers and the Giants, the Padres home stadium is a pitcher's park. It's ranked at number 22 as being a hitter's park. So he got a big upgrade in park, in team, in the bullpen behind him. He hadn't had a great year. His ERA is almost 5. But he's only to like 8%. And he's on my ads too, just to throw that in there. But so I think he's a big winner. Let's see, Chris Paddock. You might be saying to yourself, who is Chris Paddock? Well, he's another guy that escaped the sinkhole that is Minnesota, and he went to the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
And his last couple of starts have been very, very good. And now, as you mentioned, going from the sinkhole to the penthouse,
yeah,
I think going to be a great thing for him. He's a guy that's also available. So fantasy wise, I really like what could happen to him going down the stretch.
Yeah, I like that one. I've had him on, I think, 2 rosters for a while now, and I've been using him. And now we went over to Detroit. I said, hey, that works out pretty good. I'm happy with that too. I want to mention a guy that's not going to be super fantasy valuable at this very moment, but the A's and all the things that they acquired the number 3 prospect in Major League Baseball, shortstop Leo DeVries. So that's a pretty good get. They got a ton of prospects in the trade with San Diego and others. So congrats to them. I thought that was a good one. Like I said, with the Reds, just want to mention Brian Hayes comes over. He's not what he was. He's not what we thought he would be, all that kind of good stuff. It's a good situation in Cincinnati for him. And Zach Little as well, going from Tampa to Cincinnati. We've used him as a streaming pitcher now for most of this season as well. We've talked about him many times on our ads and drops. I just like it. It bolsters that Reds. There's some good talent there. And so I think that really helps. I don't hate the Andahar signing or trade as well either for Cincinnati. So overall, good stuff fantasy-wise. I want to talk Red Sox real quick. Dustin May, Steven Matz. I like Matz better than May at this very moment. I picked Matz up in a league because of where it looks like he'll be pitching. So I don't hate those trades, but I also go, man, it sure seems like they needed a whole lot more than that to contend in the AL East.
It sure seems like that, and we have criticized them, and they continue to be right there, despite all the other things we could talk about. But if you're in the race as they are, and you're in Boston, that's the kind of thing that also surprised me about the Dodgers, because they didn't do a whole lot. I know they're getting Blake. He pitched today. Blake Snell pitched today and all that. But I thought they would make a little more substantial moves than that. And so I think the same thing about Boston. And you're coming out where you have not been as good as Boston teams have been in the past.
Yeah.
And you want your fans to get behind you. I think you got to do better than this.
Fair enough. All right. We spent a lot of time on this. Is there anybody else that you feel like you need to mention before we move on?
No, because if I do that, then I won't have any ads. So
Okay. All right. Very good. Fantasy Burner presented by bellyupsports.com. Again, check them out, bellyupsports.com, and on YouTube, the Belly Up Sports channel. All right. Let's head into segment number 2. We call it what do we call it? The Hot Corner. Hot Corner presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code BELLYUP to get 15% off your purchase. All right, I've got a load of notes to go through real quick here on you, Kevin, and then let you comment on. Friday, we had a few football games take place in baseball. Miami wins 13-12 over the Yankees in a ridiculous comeback. We already talked about Caballero's error out in the outfield, the pitching mess that went on there as well. On that same night, Colorado wins 17-16 against Pittsburgh. So that was crazy. Then on Saturday, Miami shuts out the Yankees 2-0. And I sit there and I look at the Yankees and I go, it's got to be better. Like the Yankees have to be better than this, because right now they're already behind. They're already not where they need to be in the division. And you look at the way that the Yankees are playing right now, and you just go, there's nothing scary about the Yankees. They're 4.5 back, third place in the division, and they got swept by the Miami Marlins this weekend. So that threw me for a loop a little bit. I mean, when you look at the Yankees right now, Kevin, what do you see?
Well, we could harken this back to the World Series of last year. And the criticism the Yankees took because they were not as fundamental,
right,
as the Dodgers were. And if you saw that play the other day, you had a Yankees at first base, and it's a pop-up. And he's standing there just watching the ball. And it comes down to the second baseman. And he's still standing off the base.
Yeah.
And he gets thrown out. That's the kind of thing that gets you sent back to the minor leagues right there.
Yeah.
That's some a bad news bears kind of stuff. Now I know that's a reference from years and years ago, but Yankees, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
I love it. By the way, Boston and Miami on 5-game win streaks right now after today's games. I cannot go through a show without talking about my Brewers in a 3-game sweep. I know it's the Nationals. I know the Nationals stink. I get that. But in the 3-game series against the Nationals, 38 runs on 56 hits over 3 games. Like, as a Brewers fan, I'm just sitting here chuckling, giddy as this is going on to see the offense clicking the way it's been clicking. And this morning I get the notification Mizorowski goes on the IL. They call up Logan Henderson, who played really well earlier this season, and gets the call up. Looks great. And they're doing this today. They pitched 3 guys with all of them pitching 4 to 3 innings. It's like they're not using up their bullpen. They're not. It's crazy. I mean, the game is against the Cubs, winning 2 out of 3. Like, what the Brewers are doing right now, even as a fan, I'm just sitting here going, I'm a little bit in disbelief with how good the Brewers are playing right now.
You have to be extremely pleased. If you're not, then I don't know what you're doing as a fan. But they've taken my Dodgers to the back of the pen.
Yep.
And so I can't say anything. And they beat the Cubs 2 out of 3. And it took a stellar effort in that game 3 to for the Cubs to salvage anything. And when you have a situation where Miz, for lack of a better, he goes on the IL.
The Miz.
Miz. I'm sorry. Okay. The Miz. Okay. I got it. So he goes on the IL, and you would think to yourself, well, that's a big blow. I mean, this guy, first year, pitches for the National League in the All-Star game, and he goes on the IL. Well, no problem.
Yeah,
there might be an issue little bit later in the season, depending on. I guess they're saying it's going to be just the 15 days. He'll be back.
So
And,
you want the lowdown on that, Kevin?
go ahead.
Another Brewer fan I was talking to tonight says he's not hurt. They want to save his arm, so they're going to send him to the IL. He can save his arm. He'll miss 2 starts, maybe 3, and then they'll bring him back in for the stretch run. And he's not actually. I think it's a shin contusion or something like that is what they put him in for.
Yeah, because he got hit by a line drive off his shin.
Yeah,
but he stayed in the game and pitched after that. So that's kind of interesting.
So it's basically saving his arm and using the roster spots wisely and stuff like that. But that being said, I consider myself to be a realist, but I'm probably ultimately a pessimist when it comes to my sports teams. And at the beginning of the year, I didn't see how the Brewers were going to win the division. I didn't see how they would make a legit run at the World Series. Where we are right now, they're 67-44. They, against teams of 500 or better, they have one of the better records in Major League Baseball right now at 36-25. We talked about that with the Dodgers and the Cubs. So I'm at the point now where I'm going, I don't see how we don't make a World Series run. Like, everything is clicked. So injuries are the big part of it. You know, if you get the wrong guy injured, then everything goes to the crapper. But overall, I sit here and I go, man, I know I'm a fan, but I just don't see how you watch the Brewers and don't say they are legit World Series threats the way they're playing right now.
Oh, they're definitely legit. And if let's say that what you're saying is correct about the Miz, if they were in the AL Central, doing something like that may make a little bit of sense because Detroit's up by 8 games.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee has the best record in baseball. Well, congratulations. It's all great. But the Cubs are just too bad.
Yeah.
So if that's what they're doing, then you're kind of messing with, you talk about the curse and everything else. I don't know if I'd take the foot off the gas when I got just a 2-game lead in the division.
It shows the confidence in the staff. You brought Woodruff back. He looked good again this week.
He did.
Quintana has been, and I was not a Quintana fan. Quintana has been really, really good. You've got other guys. Peralta has been good this year too. So the bullpen has been really good too. So everything is playing in right now to where if the deal is they want to use him in the playoffs and they're afraid that if they overpitch him now, he won't be ready for the playoffs, then push it back. Because right now, where you're sitting, even if you lose the division, you're very good off in the wild card race at the moment too. So where all that goes, I'm happy with it. I'm pleased with it. Pat Murphy, back-to-back, managers of the year, in my opinion. He's been great this year as well. The pancake in the back pocket thing was weird. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. That was weird. But outside of that, he's eating pancakes out of his back pocket. But old school, man. Old school Pat Murphy.
If you're weird, own it.
Sure.
So you got to be pleased, and you are.
Yep.
And the Dodgers, they played 3 pennant teams on the road. They beat Cincinnati 2 out of 3. They beat Tampa 2 out of 3. They shut them out 2 times in a row. Well, 2 times.
Yeah.
And so Blake Snell, he looked okay.
Yep.
So I think he'll be better. Tyler Glasnow, we're always worried about him because his body's as soft as jelly. but he's back, and so they decided they didn't need to make any moves, and but they got the Padres just breathing down their necks, and the Padres made all these moves. So everybody pretty much assumed that the Dodgers were going to win the NL West. And I remember way at the beginning that said the over-under was 104.5, I believe it was. And I was like, well, that if everything goes well. Well, it has not. So, but all they need is some good health, and they're right back in the picture. So this is going to be some interesting, because when you look at the wild cards, okay, I wrote this down. Let's see. The wild cards, you got Boston, New York, Seattle. Texas is a game back. Cleveland's 2. Do you ever have any confidence in Cleveland? I do not.
Well, and that's where I wanted to go next was this wild card race, because if you look at the American League,
In the American League, yeah.
plays Astros as your division winners, leaders right now. Red Sox, Yankees, Mariners in. Rangers are now 2 games back after today's game.
Okay, that was as of today. Yeah.
Yeah. Guardians 3 games back. Royals 3.5. Rays 5. Like, outside of the Rangers, I think there's 7 teams fighting for 6 spots in the American League. I think the Rangers are the odd team out right now, but the moves they made I liked. So you're looking at Seattle, Yankees, Boston, Cleveland and Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Like, Tampa Bay's sold at the deadline.
Right.
Boston, I don't know what they did. The Royals, some minor pickups. Yastrzemski comes over, whatever. But
yeah,
I don't think they got worse. I don't think they got better either.
No.
So I'm
But,
looking at it and I go, I like what the Rangers did. I like what the Mariners did. I feel like there's 7 teams fighting for 6 spots.
When it comes to the American League, that's true. There are some teams that are, Texas in particular.
Yep.
But you come over here to the National League, you got the Cubs, Philadelphia, San Diego, Cincinnati's 3 out. Then you've got St. Louis. Nobody's buying that at 5.5 out. And nobody's buying Miami. I know they're playing well, but they're 6 out.
Yeah.
So unless Cincinnati, and we always talk about them, you get excited a little bit, and then they stub their toe. So I think the wild cards in the National League, the playoffs picture is complete as we sit here now.
The seeding can change and may change.
The seeding, it certainly can, but the 6 teams that are in are the ones that are going to be in at the end of the year.
I 100% agree with you. Cincinnati, I tell Cincinnati fans every year, after the All-Star break, they're going to go the wrong direction. So I don't expect them. San Francisco, they sold off some pieces. They didn't get better in the trade deadline. Mariners, listen, they're at 500. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're on a 5-game win streak. I still am not buying that. Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Pirates, Braves, Nationals, Rockets. It ain't going to happen.
No.
So, yeah, I agree with you. 6 teams in the National League. I think there's 7 fighting for 6 spots in the American League as well. So,
and that's it.
Yes.
So, if you're one of the other teams other than those 7, start looking forward to football.
Correct. All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
Oh, let's see. You don't like to talk about the Cubs, but Wrigley Field is going to host the 2027 All-Star Game.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. And let's see. Pete Alonso hit his 250th home run for the Mets the other day. He's 2 back of the Mets team record. So that was interesting. And let's see. We've talked about the Yankees. And Chisholm. Okay. I mentioned the guy was standing at first. It was Chisholm.
Yeah.
Who happens to be on my fantasy team, which embarrasses me to no end at this point.
Let's talk about the Speedway Classic real quick. The game
got rained out.
Well, they finished it. And it was pretty cool, actually. A guy named Kirsten Waldrop. He wins in his first game. And it sounds a lot like Darryl Waltrip, so it kind of works out.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. I think that was a fun environment, fun situation. The weather stinks, but they were able to complete that, so I think that was pretty cool. Yeah,
that was. I don't know if they actually got the 85,000, whatever it was, in there.
Ooh, I doubt that.
That they expected was going to break the all-time record for attendance at a baseball game. So. I did not see if that actually occurred or not.
I would guess with the weather that did not occur. I have not seen that, though.
They probably, just like just about if the ticket was sold, it was a sellout. Oh, sure. Whether they show up or not is a different situation. But
yeah. All right.
So, but yes, we know that these kind of games are going to be happening more often in the future.
Yes.
And I guess don't have a real issue with it. So, bring him.
Julio Rodriguez, 100th home run of his career today. by the way, as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Enough of that.
Enough of that.
All
Okay.
right. Hot Corner presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. RighteousFelon.com, promo code BELLYUP, 15% off your purchase. Let's get into waiver wire stuff. Fantasy Focus. All right, Fantasy Focus presented by SeatGeek. Go to SeatGeek.com, code BellyUpSports. We'll get you $20 off your first purchase. Again, I'm going all positive this week, Kevin. Any drops? I know there's plenty of
I
people.
have just two.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it positive as well. One of them, Taj Bradley,
Okay.
goes the other direction to the sinkhole that is Minnesota. Well, but he's in AAA. He's not even pitching in the major league. So,
No, he will be.
and if he does pitch this week, it's against probably the Detroit Tigers. So that's a big, big, big no. Thank you. And the other one is unfortunate because we bashed the Yankees a little bit. Here comes a little bit more. I'm talking about Paul Goldschmidt. It has completely come apart for him.
Yeah.
And he was 2 for 4 in one game, but let's see here. 2 for 25. No, 1 for 31. That's even worse. Other than 2 for 4, he was 1 for 31. This is what he's done in his last few games. 1, 0, -1, 0, -1, 0, -3, 1.
Yikes.
I didn't see what he did today, but that's just stone cold awful.
Yeah.
And he's been kind of going down. He had a great start, and I picked him up, but the great start is over now. And especially if you're fighting for your playoff lives, Paul Goldschmidt has no place on your fantasy team.
Before I forget, my son Camden wanted to make sure I let everyone know he beat you this week in one of our leagues.
Well, let me just say, because it's I'm in the playoffs, and I saw that he was right there, and I could have made some moves possibly to prevent that from occurring, but I decided not. I want to protect my team for the playoffs. There,
I like it. All right, let's get into some ads now.
Okay.
You got Taj Bradley and Goldschmidt.
That's all I got. So
okay. All right. So the way I went on ads this week, by the way, for the most part, I got a few guys that are more veteran guys, but I went a lot of really young guys that we talked about last week in trying to make the playoffs. Pay attention to who comes up when trades happen, who fills those spots. And I got a handful of guys to talk about in that situation this week. So Kevin, I'll let you start us off though with an ad for this week.
Okay. So Athletics did a lot of selling, but they still have Luis Severino.
Yep.
Okay, at 13.9% roster. The ERA is nothing to talk about, 4.83, but last 3 starts, 17 innings, 5 runs on 12 hits, 17 Ks, 4 base on balls, 16, 28, and 18 fantasy points is what he's done in his last 3 starts. Tuesday, he's at Washington. Now, you just saw what happened to Washington by your Brewers. I'm not comparing any Athletic to a Brewer, of course.
Yeah.
But that's set up for a solid start if there ever was one right there. So if you're looking for some pitching and he's available, Luis Severino goes to the top of my list.
All right, first young guy that I've got for you. I made his debut 3 days ago. He's only rostered in 0.7% of ESPN leagues. Miami Marlins center fielder Jacob Marcy. In the 3-game series against the Yankees, he scored 6 points, 1 point, and 5 points in the 3 games, batting .500 after that series. Not a whole lot given to you. If you're a categories person, you're not going to want Jacob Marcy. But in points, right now he's batting 9th, so that's another down part, but he's going to play every day in center field in Miami the rest of the way. 2 runs, 1 RBI, but 12 fantasy points over 3 games against the Yankees of all teams. You're going to take that any day, all day, every day. So Jacob Marcy, it's spelled weird. Jacob is with a K, Jakob. Marcy, Marcee, if you're looking for him.
Okay, so mentioned Chris Paddock a moment ago. He's at 5.9% roster. Well, guess who he faces on Tuesday? That'd be the Minnesota Twins and the sinkhole that they are. And we talked about his stats a little while ago, so I won't get into that again. But I really think Chris, and I was looking at him even before he got traded.
Yeah.
And since he's now on Detroit, that heightens that altogether. So I really like Chris Paddock this week going up against his former team who sold him off. And it looks great for him.
I like it. All right, another young guy, outfielder, making his debut this week. Also, Robert Hassel III, playing in Washington. And as long as Dylan Cruz is injured, this is a decent pickup, I think. Against Milwaukee, he went 5 points, 6 points, and then a 0-pointer today. Had a home run yesterday, has 4 RBIs in the weekend. He is batting .233 with 12 RBIs, 2 home runs on the season, stolen base also. But in these last call up, because it was a long time ago that he was up. So in his call up here recently against Milwaukee, he went 3 for 9 with the 1 home run, 4 RBIs as well. So Robert Hassel III, as long as Dylan Cruz is injured, is going to be on the field for Washington. And as much as Washington stinks, he's still putting up fantasy points. So I like that one too.
Okay, so you're hanging in with the new ones. I'm staying with the veterans. Because last week I talked about Justin Verlander. Well, he's back. Okay, nobody's more veteran than him. And but he's still at 7.5% rostered. Last 2 starts, 10 innings. Let's see, he's got 10 strikeouts. Let's see, and 1 base on balls last start. Monday at Pittsburgh. So tomorrow at the Pittsburgh Pirates. And there's another team that just has no breath left in their lungs.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for, and people have actually added him, I've seen it, but he still needs to be on more rosters. So I really like Justin Verlander this week. I don't know. I didn't look far enough to see who he pitches after that, but you got to like anything that has to do against Pittsburgh. So Adam.
For sure. All right, let me give you another young guy.
Okay,
came up. He's played 8 games now this season, plays for Colorado. He's actually rostered in 10.9% of ESPN leagues already. He is on one of my rosters as well, actually in our league, Kevin. He's on our roster. Warming Burnable. First name Warming, like I'm warming by the fire. Last name Burnable, Bernabel. I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly. But in 8 games, he's batting .438. He has 6 runs, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 39 fantasy points. Against Cleveland, he threw up a 9-pointer, a 3-pointer, and a 1-pointer. Against Pittsburgh, he had a 14-point outing, 6-point outing, and a -1 today as well. But again, in Colorado, he's playing after the McMahon trade is when he came up, and he's playing every day at third base right now. So you talk about third base, needing third baseman, Warming Burnable as an option there for you at third base.
You have to wonder if somebody in his family line stayed up way too late at night to come up with that name. But great name. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to hammer this point home because we talked about it earlier, and that is Mr. Logan Henderson.
Yeah.
Okay. At 13.9% rostered. And we've talked about him before, and what's Milwaukee doing with him? Next thing you know, he's in AAA and all this. But while he's pitching for the big club, get him on your roster. The Brewers are playing great. We talked about that. And so I really like his potential. It probably is not for the long term.
Right.
But we're not talking long term.
Yeah.
We're talking about this week. And he just pitched today, so maybe you can hold off a little bit.
Sure.
But I wouldn't do that too long because I think this guy is going to get a lot of interest and be on a lot of teams real soon. So looking for pitching, I would get him on my fantasy team and do it as soon as possible, right after the show.
I like that one. All right, let me give you another guy, another young guy. This one playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates of all teams, Waiver Peguero, and he had the 3 home run outing in Colorado yesterday, which obviously bolsters his point value. But against San Francisco in the series before that, he had 1 home run, 3 hits. He had a 4-pointer, a 5-pointer, a 1-pointer in that series. Against Colorado, he sat out the Friday game, had 18 fantasy points in the Saturday game. He went 0 for 5 today. But again, he's playing pretty consistently right now in Pittsburgh. He basically took over the who was the infielder that got traded from Pittsburgh? Adam Frazier job there in Pittsburgh. So Liover, Liover Peguero in Pittsburgh. I don't like him as much as I like the other guys, Marcy and Hassel and Burnable, but I do like him, and I think there's potential there. Again, these young guys getting a lot of playing time right now on these bad ball clubs. They're getting a lot of at bats, so I like that for fantasy value.
I do as well, and so I continue with my veterans, and all the trades that happened with Seattle. There's one guy that really benefits that's available in fantasy, and that's J.P. Crawford, shortstop at 10.4% roster. He's now leading off for the Seattle Mariners, most likely. And behind him, he's got the big dumper. He's got Julio back there now. He's got Eugenio. He's got Josh Naylor. And Randy Arozarena, who has appeared off seemingly from nowhere. And the Mariners have had the pitching. We know this, but they've not had a batting order like this. I don't even know, since the 90s, probably. And so J.P. Crawford is really looking to benefit from this. Let's see. 3 straight games with hits. He had home run Friday. I don't know what he did today. But if you need shortstop help, this is the guy I would look to get on your team, because he's going to have all kinds of opportunities to score some runs going forward.
I like it. Let me go with a pitcher in Pittsburgh. He's going back-to-back against San Francisco. He pitched against them on the 30th. He's pitching against them again on Tuesday, the 5th. His last 2 games, 20-point performances, fantasy-wise. Against Arizona, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Against San Francisco, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. He's playing against San Francisco again. This time will be in Pittsburgh. This is not something I would normally do necessarily, but he's got his last 2 games. He's been on it, 6 innings each, quality starts, all that good stuff. So I'm going to stick with him this week on Tuesday against San Francisco in Pittsburgh. Mike Burrows. He's only 2.7% rostered. He's had an up and down season. He's had several in the teens fantasy points. He had a nasty one against Minnesota on July the 12th, where he went minus 15 points. But that's the only negative he's had. He's got a 20-pointer against Houston back in June, an 18-pointer against the Cubs back in June, a 14-pointer against the White Sox and the Mariners, 12-pointer against the Mets. So overall, he's not been bad. And coming off a 21-point performance against San Francisco, he's going to get him again. I'm willing to roll the dice on that one. Mike Burrows, Pittsburgh pitcher.
Okay, so my last guy was also a Pittsburgh Pirate, believe it or not. All right. That's Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Plays everywhere, but all right, he's at 5.6% roster. He has 13 stolen bases, hits in 5 straight entering today. And he had, 3 hits on Friday, 2 hits on Saturday, runs in 4 straight games entering play today. And so, and best of all, he plays on Monday and he plays on Thursday, which are only a few. Thursday's the game that you pretty much throw that in out with the bathwater, because there are only 3 or 4 games. But he plays both of those days, so that's a boost right there to your lineup.
Yeah.
So check him out.
All right. So I've got 3 more guys, but what I'm going to do is trim it down. So Kyle Manzardo, keep an eye on him. He's playing more consistently, has some good moments. Jordan Beck, another Colorado Rocky.
Okay.
He's had some really good moments. Played Pittsburgh this week, so you have to kind of weigh that a little bit, but keep an eye on him too. Last guy, I just don't understand. 17% rostered, and I just don't get it. I don't, he should be 60% rostered right now. And it's Andrew Vaughn in Milwaukee. He's playing every day at first base.
That I don't get either. I don't understand it even a little.
He's got RBIs. He's got home runs. He plays first base. He's got DH eligibility too. It's just like, it seems like every other day it's almost a double digit points, or almost, up there, 8 points, double digit points, whatever. Getting plenty of playing time in Milwaukee. If I'm Rhys Hoskins right now, I mean, I don't know that I'd play Rhys Hoskins over Andrew Vaughn right now.
No, well, you wouldn't.
So I'm
You might as well
going,
check into the witness protection program the way it's going right now. So
now Hoskins is on the IL. So you don't have to worry about it right now. So Andrew Vaughn, pick him up, put him on your team, let him play for you. Like, this team put up 30, what did I say? 30 some runs. 38 runs.
I don't know. It seemed like it was 138.
Yeah. Pick up Andrew Vaughn. Show the guy some love. Come on. Let's do this already.
That's
all right. There you go. There's your waiver wire ads. Fantasy Focus, SeatGeek.com. Promo code is BellyUpSports. We got a busy week, Kevin, coming up. I'll start with Tuesday night. Kevin he'll be unable to make the show Tuesday night, the Belly Up Fantasy Life Football Show, but we're still going to have it. As a matter of fact, Brian Germanaro will be there, and DJ Stewart will be there as well. So we'll be talking fantasy football on Tuesday night. Then me and Dad, we're going to do a show. I don't know when yet. I don't know if we're going to get it done Thursday. I'll be in Ohio on Thursday at his house, actually. So we may do a live show here.
Nice.
If not, we'll have something to put out because we got the AFC. No, we just did the AFC North. We got the NFC. I don't know what division we're doing. NFC West. Doing the NFC West.
Be nice to my Seahawks, okay?
Yeah. So we got to bust on the Seahawks a bit. So that's this week. And then this weekend, I will be at the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton, Ohio, with several members of the Belly Up Sports crew. And so if you're in the Canton, Ohio area, or if you're already planning on going to the Fantasy Football Expo, stop by the booth, the Belly Up Sports booth, say hello, introduce yourself. Would love to meet you. I'll be there. Kevin's not gonna be able to make it, but DJ Stewart will be there. Kelsey Cohen, Jared Clem from Corner Booth is going to be there as well. Matt's going to be there from Corner Booth. So we got several guys. Blaine's going to be there. I think Mike's going to be there. They're co-founders of Belly Up. So swing by the booth, say hello. We'd love to see you. Love to meet you. All that good stuff. I'll be around Saturday and Sunday there at the Expo. So hopefully you'll stick around and say hello for that. I've got some articles I'm trying to work on and just haven't had the time, and I probably won't this week either, to get out some college football stuff, getting ready for the college football season as well. But follow me on social media at Sports Stove. We've got plenty of stuff going on this week. Kevin, what do you got going on this week?
Well, we just talked about winners and trades, and I put out an article where I concentrated on the winners and lit into a little bit more detail than what we went in here. So that's on the Belly Up website at present. And Friday night, we did a Seahawks Sessions show, and we talked Seahawks. We talked water balloons, all right, because it was National Water Balloon Day, believe it or not. And we talked about chocolate chip cookies. We talked about the Cowboys and Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And so just get over there, and we talked about a whole range of things. So that's get over there and check that out. And Wednesday night, you mentioned the high-low. I was on there behind the scenes doing a draft. So if you want to know what a mock draft looks like, get over there and to the Belly Up YouTube, because it's there, High-Low Sports. And it was interesting, some of the picks. You definitely want to get there and check that out. And that's pretty much it for me, except on Saturday, I will be on the No Credentials Required show Saturday morning. So you can look forward to that. And there will be an article that I just did, a short one, that I'm going to drop sometime before I hit the road this week. So get over to the Belly Up website and look for it and check it out there.
Very good. Very good. All right. Yeah. Fantasy baseball is winding down. Fantasy football starting up. There's a lot going on. And so hopefully you'll tune into all the coverage. Sure appreciate Righteous Felon. Check them out at righteousfelon.com, SeatGeek, SeatGeek.com, and of course, all the support we get from Belly Up Sports as well. We appreciate you tuning into this. Yeah.
I must mention, since your son mentioned about how he took me to the cleaners, that's fine. But I must mention how I took
Sorry, Kevin. We got to go. Yes,
I took you down, and unbelievably enough, Nathan is being brought down. So, because of that, I will be tying him by the end of the day.
There you go.
For for the race of the playoffs. So, just if you're out of it, don't give in.
My son wanted me to give you some fantasy advice, Kevin.
Okay, go ahead.
This week. He said you need to drop James Wood as well.
I don't believe. First of all, he's not droppable.
James Wood's not droppable?
He's not.
I
was stunned at this.
That's not good.
No. Because I looked at that because I was like, well, he's on the IL, I believe, right?
No, I don't think he is.
Hold on. No, he is not. He is not. You are, in fact, correct. And there he is. He's the third-ranked outfielder in fantasy baseball. He cannot be dropped.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 negative fantasy point outings in his last 14 games.
That's right. Especially he went, this is really bad. -2, -1, -3, -2, -3, -1, -1. D-Sal is something, then -2, -1. So,
and he's undroppable on ESPN. That's wild.
He is. Okay. I was shocked.
There you go. Breaking news.
Breaking news. If you're looking for the move, James Wood, it's not going to happen.
If you made it an hour and 2 minutes into this program, you just learned something with us.
That's right. We're here to help.
Now we're here to go to bed. Friends, I appreciate you tuning into the episode. I hope that you'll tune in next week. Next week will be on a Monday, is the plan, Monday night. Although I'll be traveling on Monday and I'm going to be dog tired, but we'll make it work. Content coming to you next Monday, not next Sunday for Belly Up Fantasy Live Baseball.
That's right.
But we'll be back with more. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Have yourself a great week, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
That's right.